Welcome to the Universe is Talking podcast. I'm your host, King.
And I'm your host, Aja.
Before we begin, I want to say hello to our listeners in India, Argentina, and the UK. Thank you very much for listening. That gives us confirmation that our show is growing, that we are reaching a wider audience than we probably initially expected when we began recording sometime last year.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so this is episode 5 of season 2, and today's episode is titled, What You Would or Wouldn't Do for Love. Aja and I spoke about this topic, and I'm going to go ahead and begin this one for us. So, what you would or wouldn't do for love? Over the years, I've come to learn that men and women are very similar when it comes to the opposite sex. And that's very surprising to me.
Mm-hmm.
Had someone came to me, let's say 10 years ago, and told me that men and women were very similar when it comes to relationships with the opposite sex, I probably would have gone against their point and opinion on that. But here we are years later, and now I'm the one that's saying that, yes, men and women are very similar. If we had a list of characteristics and said, this is the way that someone acts in a relationship, and we had to say, yeah, that would describe a man or that would describe a woman, just from talking about it, I would think that it would be very obvious which characteristics belong to men and which ones belong to women. But the truth of the matter is, or at least in my opinion, a lot of those characteristics can go both ways.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to begin by saying that men love very hard, the same way that women love very hard, obviously. But we don't really hear the saying that men love hard, but men actually do love hard. It's just that we also fuck up hard. So it makes it a little difficult to see exactly how hard we love. But yes, we actually do love very hard. We love our women to the best of our abilities. In that messing up so hard, I think that both men and women might overlook the history of that man. I'm gonna begin by speaking for men, at least. If that man didn't have a father in his life, he might have had a father figure, but it wasn't his father. The only way he's gonna learn is from mistakes. He didn't have anyone to point him in the right direction of, this is how it should go, this is how it shouldn't go. He didn't have that father to watch love a woman. He didn't see his mother love his father, and he decided to mold everything that he would do around that love that he grew up watching and experiencing. Or there's also men who grew up in a household where there was a lot of physical abuse going on, namely from the man to the woman.
Mm-hmm.
So growing up in that, and I'm not making excuses for anything at all or anyone at all, but growing up in that, it becomes difficult not to mess up so hard in order to get to the point in life where you understand, all right, I did things this way and that didn't work. And I did things this way and I liked the results that I got from it. So I'm going to continue on doing these things because I liked the results that I got from it. I appeared to make her happy. Hopefully she was happy. But yeah, I appeared to make her happy, so I'm going to do these things. All of that comes from trial and error And then as that person grows older, now they're experienced in the mess ups and the successes. And now we go into the point of, well, what am I willing to do for love? But also, what am I not willing to do for love? So this is probably universal for everybody. Nobody wants to be made a fool. Just don't play me. And don't play me. That doesn't mean going off and being with someone else or anything like that. That's just don't play me for a fool.
Okay, so I think I love your opening, and I agree with you. I think that men and women both have the capacity to love very deeply and very hard, as you said. I was listening to a sermon some years ago. I mean, it's probably been 5 years that I heard this sermon preached, but it was sent to me specifically because of the message. And it was about how men love easy. Or no. I'm sorry. No. Wait. Yes. Women love easy. Men submit easy. And the reason why we are together, men and women, are to learn from each other how to love and how to submit to the other. And at first, I was like, when I was listening to the sermon, because this isn't about religion, it's about the message for me. What is that true? Like, it's not something that is talked about very often. It's more so spoken that women should be the ones to submit to their husbands, at least from certain types of religious aspects. And it's never discussed that men are already submitting to their wives. And then when I took some time to consider, you know what? It was right. To my husband, and I think that some people listening will understand submission a lot better than others. So they may praise my husband better or more than others who have a distorted view of submission. But when it comes to my husband, he does submit to me. And by submission, I mean anything I ask for, my husband is going to give it to me. I mean, I'm a good wife. I'm not a selfish woman. I'm not. I don't do things that's going to harm our family. I'm loving to him. I'm everything I'm supposed to be as a wife. I'm not saying that I'm perfect, and so there are times that I probably am falling short. But that's not something that he and I discuss. Just like I'm not discussing his shortcomings. But my point is, I'm a good enough wife that if I want something, which is rare, but if I want it, if I ask for something, he goes. Think of men in general. If you are good in his life, generally speaking, that man will go, okay, what do you want? Men have honey-do lists all the time from their women, things that women will ask them to do, and men go, okay. They take the list and they do whatever it is that is asked of them. The very foundation of what men are supposed to be in their household is about submission. The fact that he's the leader also makes him the servant. He has to make sure that things are done. What does that require of him? He's got to be like, okay, I'll do it. I'll handle it. That's submission. Because if you don't submit, you're constantly saying, no, I'm not going to. We're not going to do this. It's going to be my way, always, and I'll never give in. Submission requires putting others before yourself in moments. And it doesn't mean that it's at risk of yourself, but it just means that you know what the greater good is. And sometimes for men, when it comes to women, the greater good is that that relationship is constantly moving forward, that she's happy. And to make her happy, I'm going to give her the things that she needs. Now, granted, if she's asking for outrageous things, or if she's selfish, if she's wasting money and resources and these types of things, a man, at least a smart one, might stop submitting because he realizes that she's not taking whatever it is he's doing and utilizing it in the best way. But I'm saying in a good arrangement, men submit very easily. Now, women love easily. We love almost immediately. We love when there's no sign that we should be loving. We just start loving. We just things that are loving. So when I was listening to this sermon, I was like, you know what? This guy is right. We should be learning how to do, because see, women have a hard time when men say, can you do this for me? Can I have this? Will you go here? Will you do this? Immediately we start doing, huh? Yeah, nigga, I know you ain't talk. Excuse my language, but I'm just saying. Who you telling to do this? I mean, we don't submit easily. The word submission gets us hung up. We are bothered by it because we have this view of what submission means. And we also have the history of being in a relationship that someone has been asking us to do things and we've done it. Like we tried out submission and it wasn't like good for us. We were led astray. We began doing things for someone and we were loving them and we were submitting to them, and they were taking us in a place that ended up being bad for us. So we don't have good experiences sometimes with submitting to men. Therefore, we go against it immediately when we meet a man who might actually be all right, and he starts asking us to do things, and we're like, he's doing that. I'm not going that way. You're not going to ask me for this, and I'm just going to do it.
I want to jump in right here because you led me somewhere. I was calm in the beginning, but now you led me somewhere, and now the other side of me is about to come out.
I'm sorry.
Fuck what you tried in that other relationship and it didn't work. That has nothing to do with me. I'm not him and he's not me.
Right.
Try it with me and see how it goes with me and for me. Now, if you see something again that you weren't expecting to see and it makes you feel funny, like you're the one that's being played for a fool, then okay. At least you did try honestly and openly. And now you know for a fact how I'm going to react to it. But don't come into this relationship with me judging my reactions off of the reactions that you got previously with anyone else.
I'm not going to disagree that should be the case, but I think that because of the aspect that I shared with you earlier, that we love easily, the love part is the thing that often keeps us in a cycle of doing and being with someone that is not good for us after they've shown us they're not good. So oftentimes what we do is we say, we're not even going to do those things ever again, because we know that once we start loving you, we won't care that you are abusive, whether emotionally, physically, or whatever. We won't care that you are that you're cheaters, that you're liars, that you are manipulators. We won't care after a while because we're already in love, and once we're in love, we'll keep up whatever it was that we were doing out of this misguided I love you. And so I'm going to ride or die with you till the end of time. It takes a lot for a woman to disengage from a man once she begins loving you, which is often pretty early. Like I said, we love quicker. We get in love very easily, whereas you all are more Not to say that you don't love hard and that you don't love deep, but you're slower to love. You're more easily able to do things for us, and we are often confusing that with love, because you will give us time, you will give us the things that we're asking for, so we start to think that that's love, and then we're like, okay, we're now in love. So we
Yeah,
jump into this
we
love.
can't wait to give you what you're asking for.
See what I'm saying?
We just need time to make sure that you're worth us going that far emotionally with you.
Right. And
but once we figure that out, you got it.
Right. I know that part. And I also know that if we are worth it, that oftentimes what happens is then you allow yourself, and this is just me I know that I'm a woman, I'm not a man, but I've been with a man for a very, very long time. And I know that he gave me what I wanted before he began to allow himself to love me. Now, I think that and I know that we've talked about this, that he loved me for longer than he admitted that he loved me. But at the point in which I consistently showed him that every effort he was making was worth it, there was a point where he said, okay, I will allow myself to feel what I am experiencing with her. So then once he did that, in a way that he had not been open before, and that, I think, is where the love starts to come in. But it took me continuing to love and him continuing to submit, and I'm just using this word, to give, you know what I mean? To give to me unselfishly. And it took us to do that over and over and over again, for then him to express his love openly, and then for me to begin to submit. Because in the beginning, I would say I was slower to submit. I was loving, but if he asked me, and he didn't ask, but I think I was more hesitant to be the woman who was like the yes woman, like whatever it was he needed, like I just jump into action and just start doing. I think that, and I don't remember because it's so long ago, but I know that I was young, so I was probably dumb. So yeah, I was probably doing.
You had to be dumb. Yeah, definitely
I was dumb.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I was probably doing more than I would have been doing if we would have met later on in life. But I know once he started to openly express his love, I definitely was like, whatever this man needs, he's going to get it from me. And so the one thing, if someone were to ask me what works in your marriage, it's that we are always giving to each other. I have never gotten to the place where I've said, I ain't giving this nigga nothing. I'm not giving this man what he's asking from me. I've never been there with him. If there's anything that I can do, I'm going to do it. I am okay with submitting to my husband over and over and over again, because he is constantly submitting to me. We are always giving to each other without the expectation of anything. And that won't, in my opinion, the way in which love and submission looks in a relationship will vary. It's not always the same. That's why there's someone I know who has looked at my relationship with my husband and said, we're relationship goals. And my thing is, we can't be your goals. We can't be your goals because we are us. We have our own relationship. We are our own people. We have our own way of doing things. It's perfect for us, but it may not be perfect for anyone else. And my thing is, a lot of people will say what they would do if they're in a relationship based on what they see. But you can't say what you would do and who you'd be with someone until you're in it, because you don't know that person until you're in the relationship with them. And
Right.
not
Yeah.
only
You
that,
got to go inside and break it all the way apart in order to
exactly,
understand how it came together the way it did.
exactly. And it just so happened that my relationship is perfect for us, but it may not be. And I tell people all the time, my husband is the outgoing one. I'm the quiet one. He's the one who could talk to me on his way home from work. He could talk to me several times a day. I'm the one who, if, like I appear to be the man in that sense where I don't need to have that type of contact. However, he does. He needs that contact. So I provide that to him. But then at some point, he knows I've provided as much as I can. And then he backs off. It's like, okay, I know that we done talked a few times today, or we've been talking for a while, and I know that you probably want to go and do some other things. Like, we know each other. So it's not stressful for us. But other people may not know when to pull back or to give. They may be all about themselves. I know someone who is like, I like to talk, so I need a man who can deal with the fact that I like to talk all the time. Well, I'm sorry, honey. A lot of men, I'm not saying all, but the ones I know don't want to listen to a woman run her mouth all day long. No, they don't want to hear that. So am I saying that, you can't be yourself? No, you can be yourself, but you should also understand he's not going to want you to be yourself all day. He's going, at some point, he needs a break from you. He needs a break from whatever that is. And you got to understand he's him. So are you going to say, I'm going to be me 24/7 and he just going to have to deal with it? Hell no. Don't nobody got to deal with nobody and their ways 24/7. My husband is him. I am me. We are two individuals. He doesn't have to put up with who I am all day long. We've got to learn how to give each other what we want and then find other ways and outlets to express ourselves in the ways that we don't care to express ourselves with each other. The podcast allows me to do things that I may not, wouldn't be the thing that I'm doing with him. It's not taking away from my marriage. It's adding to our marriage because I get to express myself in a way that I don't necessarily express with him. Not in this way. Now, after the podcast is done and he asks me how did it go and I tell him how it went and I can discuss it with him, see, he don't have to be all up in it. He gets to experience some of it.
Plus, he listens to it.
He does listen to it, but he would much rather be the spectator to it than the participator.
Right.
And see, that's my thing. A lot of people keep saying what they would do and what should happen. If it were me, I wouldn't let her talk to no man and be on no podcast. It ain't you. It ain't you. It's not you. And matter of fact, you don't even have a man. You don't even have a husband. Or you had one and you ain't with one now. So how can you tell someone else? I'm sorry, I done got all heated up now.
You're good.
My thing is, there's a lot of people who would say what they would do but they ain't in it. And when they were, it failed. So let me ask you something. If it failed, how do you know what you would do if? Because my thing is, you obviously, not just you, I realized someone else was in this relationship with you and it didn't work out. It's not all on you. But you chose this person, you were with this person for some time, and you made decisions with this person. It wasn't all them. It was you too. And my thing is, what you did didn't work. What y'all did didn't work. So when you look at another relationship that happens to be working for them, no matter what it looks like, how can you say that what you would do would be better? You're not in it. You're not in it. As far as I can tell, you don't even have nobody. And if you got somebody, that somebody hasn't even thought that he wanted to be your husband. He's just with you.
That's how they know what they wouldn't do, though, because they didn't do it previously.
But see, that's what
and
I'm
it got
saying.
them exactly where they are right now.
But see, here's the judge. But see, the thing is, what you did and didn't do didn't work with that person. Might have worked with somebody else. The
But they
problem
don't see it that
is
way.
people get into relationships thinking that this is the way you're supposed to be in a relationship. A woman's supposed to do this. A man is supposed to do that. You hear these same people are the ones you see say a man is the one who's supposed to do this and a woman does this. And then they go into relationships with that notion. And they aren't that woman, and he is not that man. And if you don't learn right away that you're not in a relationship with some figure, like some just this man figure, you're in a relationship with an individual who has his own upbringing, who has his own values, his own ways, his personalities, his own needs. He got his own kind of job. He has his own outside influences. He has all them quirks. That's him. He's an individual. If you can't figure out that you're dealing with an individual who has his own needs, you will always fail. Don't tell nobody what you would do in a relationship until you get in it with that man or that woman. That's when you decide what you'll do in that relationship. And if it is something that you want to do it. And if it is not, if you find this individual is not your match, if the things they require of you is not going to work for you, get out. Stop falling in love with people that are not your match. They ain't for you. Have a good time and move the fuck on. This is how I'm here with the one I'm with all this time. Because I learned early on, this is who he is. These are what his needs are. This is who I am. And I'm willing to do this. And I had a conversation and said, this shit right here, I'm not doing that. I'll do all of this. But that, that's not me. I'm not into that. I don't like that. And you know what? Oftentimes, he laughs at that. That's funny to him. The things that I'm not interested in, the things that I don't want to do, or that's funny to him. It's not a problem for him. He loves that I was who I am. And when he needs things that I don't want to do, he finds a way to enjoy himself in that, independently, without me. And I'm okay with that. That's how we are here. But I get tired of seeing people say what they would and wouldn't do. And that brings me to why this discussion even came into place.
Not yet. Don't go there yet.
Oh, okay.
Not yet. All right, so I'm going to quote something that is from an artist that I like a lot, but it's appropriate for this particular topic. You can be anything in this world that you want, except for my downfall. All right, so you said earlier that you was listening to a sermon and the guy had said that women love easy and men submit easy.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to you and thinking about that, and I actually agree with that 100%.
Mm-hmm.
As men, we have to be in control of every single thing in our life. So when we're looking for a woman, we are looking for that woman that we can submit to.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to be in control of her. We don't have to be in control of everything involving her or everything involving our life with her. We want to be able to come home, leave the control of everything outside of our door, step inside of our home and know that we can now hand that control over to you. Control of everything, it exhausts us. But we have no other choice but to be that way, because if we lose control, if we're not focused and paying attention, and we submit to anything, let's say anger, if we submit to our anger, the cost of that can be a lot more than we're willing to pay. So as men, we have to remain in control. But when we find that woman that's worth us submitting to, we know that that's the one right there. We're not leaving her. We're putting our name on it. We're giving her our name. We need the whole world to know that this is the woman that I'm submitting to. The ring is going to represent us. And for everybody that looks at that ring, they need to know, when you look at that ring, you're looking at me. If you do anything at all to disrespect that ring or me, respect that ring or her, rather, if you do anything at all to disrespect that ring or her, you're not going to be seeing a submissive man. You're going to be seeing a very, very, very aggressive man, because I love this woman with my entire soul. And there's nothing at all that I would not do for this woman. She is everything that I could have ever asked for from God. Mm. She is everything that I've ever wanted in this world. She is the woman that I've cried for the universe to place in my life. So now that I've gotten her and I recognize that this is her, I'm all in. Talking to you, it was probably the first year of our friendship. We was having one of our discussions, and you said something to me that stuck with me right away. Love is not 50-50. It's 100-100. Mm-hmm. If you love 100, and make it clear that you expect 100 from her as well, or for the woman, make it clear that you're expecting 100 from him as well. No disrespect to same-sex relationships or marriages. I'm just speaking for something a little bit different. That's all. Mm-hmm. And I agree with you on that. If we both put in 100, we don't hold nothing back. We're not doing none of the sneaky shit of take, so we can drain everything out of that person. If we're giving love equally at 100, there should be nothing in this world that you're not willing to do for me as the man, and I'm not willing to do for you as the woman. Who gives a fuck what everybody else on the outside think? This ain't their shit. Right. This is ours. So if our thing is, and I'm just going to make it sexual just to make a point here, though. But if our thing is to go to the strip club together, that's our thing. That's something that we both enjoy for whatever reason. We both enjoy it. Maybe you enjoy watching me interact with other women and then come home and give you, as I would say in season 1. But that's our thing. Don't nobody else have to understand it. They don't have to know the why behind it. Yeah, I know you wouldn't do it, but you ain't doing it.
Right.
He didn't ask you to do it. He left your ass at home while he went to the strip club with his homeboys, and he'll see you when he get in at 2 or 3, or he'll call you at 4 or 5 when he gets in, or he'll get in and go to sleep and wake up, and he'll hit you up at 11 in the morning, however that goes.
Right.
But don't worry about why she's doing whatever she's doing for him and with him. Mm-hmm. You need to figure out what you're not doing in what you're currently in or what you didn't do in that previous marriage or relationship that you were in and fix that because it clearly did not work.
Mm-hmm.
I'll admit it, I have a type. I like what I like. I might venture off from that, but the truth of the matter is I like what I like. Don't nobody know this but me, but every time I'm looking at what I like and I'm with what I like and I'm talking to what I like, I'm always thinking in my head, you are bad as hell, but why didn't that other nigga marry you? Or you are bad as hell, but what made him let you go so easily? Regardless of if it was easy or hard, he let you go. Y'all agreed to split. Okay, I'll meet you halfway. Y'all agreed to split up. However you want to say it, he didn't see the value in you to keep you.
So
let's bring it back around now. What about those things that you didn't do? Because you wouldn't do it because your pride wouldn't let you do it. What about those things? Does that have a part to play in why you're no longer married? Does that have a part to play? And I apologize for what I'm about to say, but we having real talk. We are adults. Does that have a part to play in why you have so many baby fathers and not a husband? We might have to look at it. Me, I'll own my shit every day of the week. My homeboys will own theirs. We'll own it. We know what our problem is. We love women. Speaking for me, I'm always willing to accept the consequences for my actions. You also have to look yourself in the eyes in the mirror and understand what is your downfall when it comes to all of these relationships that you've been in. If you've been married multiple times or not, what was my downfall in this marriage that I was in or these marriages that I was in that caused me to be single now and trying to find someone after I've already had someone? It's not all, oh, that person did this and they did this too and I was just so perfect and I just made a decision that I was worth more and I deserved more. Okay, yeah, that might be true. That's not the only person you've ever been with.
Right.
You've been with more than one person, and more than one person has decided that you are not the one. We all like to think that we're the shit. Rightfully so. Yeah, we are all the shit. But the shit that you're doing when you're with somebody else ain't going to cut it. All right, so you want to talk to me all day? Fine. Yeah, let's go ahead. You go ahead and talk. I'm going to listen. But if you're going to talk and then I'm going to talk and then I'm going to talk and then you're going to talk, what the hell are we getting done now? We can't both do the same thing and expect to succeed. Mm-hmm. If I'm going to lift, you're going to put. If you're going to give, I'm going to receive. And then when I give, you receive. If we're going to give, never put, we're going to be broke as hell trying to figure out how we're going to clear this debt that we got in together. Balance. Find the balance. Being your friend for however many years it's been now, of the balance that you and your husband have. You said that anything that you ask for, he gives it to you. Absolutely, because as long as he know that he can send you that text and say, feed me, and he's going to be fed with love, it's not the food, it's the love behind the food.
Right.
You're putting that soul inside of him with that food. As long as he knows he can get that from you on any given day that he asks for it, Hell yeah, he's going to give you whatever you ask for. And truth be told, you're not asking for outrageous shit anyway.
No. I mean, I really don't ask for anything, to be honest. Like, when you really, he'll say all the time, like, he'll make a big deal about if I ask for something, but I'll remind him, I don't really ask for anything. And he'll go, you really don't. I don't. I don't ask for anything. So when I ask for something, no matter how small, it's like, let me give this to her because she really doesn't ask for anything. I give more than I ask for anything. But even if I was the person to ask for a lot and I gave a lot, I think that he would still go out of his way to give me whatever it is that I ask for. And something you said kind of it activated something in me. The whole him he sends me texts and has since we've been together, feed me or feed a nigga. Excuse me, excuse my language to some, but he wants to be fed. My husband has a big appetite. My thing is, not every man is that way. Not every man wants to be fed food. Some men want something else. And, there are women who will be like, I can cook, I can clean, I'll fuck you. They'll go down a long list of these attributes of things that they can do, will do, and supposedly did with the person that they were with before, but yet they still were left in the wind. My thing is, you've come up with some sort of construct that you think is the most important thing to men, all men. And you've designed yourself, or you are this person, and you feel like that should make you the match for any man that you come in contact with. You got all these attributes, so you're like, so why isn't it that I'm in a relationship? Because he's not that kind of man. That's not what he wants. That may be smothering to him. You having a home cooked meal every single day, fixing him breakfast, ironing his shirts, calling him 3 times a day to say, honey, you all right? As soon as he walk in the door, you jumping on him. You never give him a chance to come after you. You don't know. Like, all those things that you think are the thing that women should be for men may not be the thing he wants in a woman. Or he may want those things, but he may want them to be things he has to ask for at times, or things he has to chase sometimes. You just don't know. You don't know what a man is going to want or need all the time. He may want those things and they may not need those things 24/7. Some things that there's something that some relationships or some men want that a lot of women have not figured out yet. And I'm going to tell y'all, here's the secret. They just want peace. They want peace. Okay? You can have bomb ass pussy. You can have that grade A pussy we were talking about an episode or 2 ago. You may be able to throw down in the kitchen. You may be able to clean the house. And trust me, that's a gift. Not everybody can clean. Some people, you walk in the house and they said they was cleaning all day, and you look and go, really? Not everybody can clean. So yeah, I give it to you. You can clean. Go ahead, girl. But if you do not bring him peace, a lot of men don't want to be bothered. Now, it's a very indefinable thing. It's not something I can teach you, because I try to teach as much as I can, but this isn't anything I can give you, girl. Some of y'all just are not very peaceful to be with. Neither are the men. Some of y'all may be peaceful for somebody and just not for someone else. Some of y'all run your mouth too much to be peaceful. Your energy's just all over the place. He doesn't feel at peace when he's with you. That does not make you a bad person. It just means you're not his match.
Right. Not
You
his.
ain't for him. Right.
Mm-hmm.
All this long list of I can do this and I would do this and I did all this, and none of it matters or mattered, because when he was with you, his spirit was not calm. He didn't feel home when he was with you. He needed to get away to be at peace. He came to you and he got what he needed, and then he went somewhere else where he felt peace, whether that was alone or with someone else. He does not feel it with you. And some men they can't express that. They can't even tell you that's what it was. They just say, I don't know what it is. I love you, but... And I'll tell you, it's peace. He doesn't get it with you. He doesn't feel it with you. He's got to go somewhere else to get it. We want peace, and men are they're able, they will give us the space to have peace, and we get mad at it. When we're all, messed up and emotional and, crying and stuff, you know what? One of the first things they do, what do? They leave. They're willing to give us peace, even if it means not with him. Men will leave, and we get mad because we want him to stay while we're all messed up. And he's trying to give you the thing that he keeps saying he needs, or he hasn't been able to express that he needs. He wants peace. And obviously, with him around, you're not getting it. And maybe the same for him. With him around you, he's not getting it. So he leaves. And yet we want him to come back doing all of that, rather than allow that space where there's peace, where we can find out, you know what, maybe he has to always be gone. Maybe we cannot be together because there is no peace when we're together. There's great sex. I could throw down in the kitchen, but I don't bring him peace. My husband loves peace. He loves peace. And I guarantee if I didn't bring him peace, if he could not have with me around, he would not be around. Because peace is such a big part of his world. Fuck him, feed him, give him good TV and sports, and peace. That's it.
That sounds like somebody I know.
It's that. Oh, sure. Peace. Peace. That's the thing that you all are missing. Y'all ain't got that. And y'all just try to figure it out. But you can't figure it out. It's not anything that you, at least from my perspective, it's not like I made myself be his peace. I'm his mate. I happened to find my mate. I did. I found my mate. And that's the person that I bared down with. I, dug my heels in the ground and started to grow roots and grow and build a family tree with. See, I'm using imagery here. That's the person that I decided to do that with. I didn't do that with myself in someone's life and be his woman when it was clear we weren't a match. I didn't do that. A lot of people say, how did you end up lucky? I don't know. I was smart enough to not align myself with the man because I had other men to choose from. Okay? My husband's not my only man. There were others. He's the one, though, that brought me peace. I felt at peace with. I felt like, all the things that I really, really want, he's the one. Even if I wasn't ready to get married, even if I didn't see myself getting married, there was just this calmness when it came to our experience together. I didn't feel like I had to force anything. He didn't have to force the one that I developed everything with. Whereas the others, I was just having a good time with. I didn't allow anything deep to build from that, and I wasn't going to try to force it just because. And a lot of times I see people forcing it because they want the relationship, they want the marriage, they want the ring, they want all these things, and they're not feeling what, at least from what I can tell, they're not feeling that sense of peace and calm with this person. That's why there's always conflict. That's why they're always like, well, he doesn't do this though, and and if I could just get him to, well, I mean, honey, he's him. If you're trying to force something, then already you have a problem, then this is not a good sign. Stop trying to build castles with someone and y'all don't have what you need right now. Does it mean break up right now? No. I'm just saying don't get to the place where you're deciding a future with someone where the present is not working out. And then when that present, it becomes so clear that you don't have the things and tools you need to build upon, then yes, you may need to make a decision to back up. Stop saying, I'm going to make this work with someone it's not working with already. If it ain't working already, then it's not going to work.
The topic is what we would or wouldn't do for love. And as usual, King and I, we discuss a myriad of things that impact our relationships with people and, our desire to make things work, our desire to not lose ourselves in our relationships. And, we always kind of go around the world with our discussions, but we want to make sure that we kind of drive home the point that you don't really know what you're going to do in a relationship until you're in it. And it's very difficult to look at someone else's relationship to determine that what they're doing or not doing is wrong for them. King, did you have any other additions to this discussion?
Yeah, I wanted to pretty much wrap up my part of this by saying, stop trying to force your don'ts on someone who needs you to do. And to put that in another way, if you know that you are just not willing to do this, it's not who you are, it goes against everything that you've ever believed or felt, but the man or woman that you're with needs this from their partner in order for them to be fulfilled in that relationship, the two of you need to have a serious conversation and start discussing the fact that this is just going nowhere. Now, if the two of you decide to still have fun with each other, that's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that, especially with us being adults. Yeah, we can have fun. There's times in our life when we only need to have fun. But once we get past the fun stage in our life and we are looking for, can it be or can it not be? And either one of us has recognized that we're not getting that due from this person because they don't. And no, this is not going to be. And if you decide to go ahead and keep playing and you want to play with each other for another year or 2 years or 3 years or whatever the time frame might be, just know once that fun part has gone by and we're back to, well, is this going to be? No, it is not going to be, because it was never in the beginning.
Yeah, I think that's the hard part, as I said before, is that typically for women, and don't be mad at me if you're a woman listening in and you're like, you're so hard on us, like, you don't give us the benefit of the doubt. I know how to let go. I think because we're having, and at least attempting to have honest discussions, podcasts, and with you've got to be honest with yourself about how we as women typically respond to being in relationships with men once we fall in love. And once we fall in love, everything kind of changes for us. Before that moment, if we can manage to not fall in love with someone who we're just supposed to be having a good time with, who we know is no good for us as far as relationships go, so we're just going to, just do what we do and we're going to move on when it expires, then that's cool. But if we aren't able to hold that off and we do get involved with our heart, then we must be honest with ourselves that once we get involved with our heart, it's really hard for us to let go of this, whatever the idea was that we had of it being more long lasting and it being our future. And so someone like King might say, okay, it is what it is. This isn't going anywhere because you're not going to do this and this is what I need. If you want to have fun, we can go on and have fun. And women will, and some women, not all, but some women will lie to themselves, okay, and say, okay, I can do that. I can have this good time with this man and not have an expectation of anything else developing in the future because he's already telling me at this point that it's not going to go anywhere because I won't do these things. It's not me. And there's nothing wrong with knowing your limit. There's nothing wrong with knowing your limit. Don't feel bad for that. But the point is, generally speaking, this man can detach himself from the expectation that he may have had of having a future with you and move on and really have a good time while you are having fun, while also hoping that some kind of way he changes his mind while he's having fun with you. That his needs, his desires, the things that he was seeking before, those things will change for him. And let me just tell you, they won't. They won't change. Because if he's gotten to the place that he knows himself, and he knows, once he knows himself and he knows what it takes for him to be happy, it's no different than when you discovered who you were and you discovered what you needed to be happy in a relationship. And he is no less deserving of having the things that he wants than you are. So be honest with yourself. Can you really continue to have fun knowing that you're in love and knowing that you really want him in the future without giving him the things that he wants because it's just not in you? And then don't tell yourself, okay, I'm going to try the things that he wants even though I hate it, and I'm going to just do it long enough to maybe get him over this hump. Maybe it's that he desires having other women, like to be involved with multiple women at a time, and you may convince yourself that you might be able to deal with that for a period of time. Be honest with yourself. Can you really? Are you going to turn crazy? Are you going to start stalking the other women? Are you going to give them a hard time? Are you going to give him a hard time? Once you fall in love, how are you going to be able to continue having fun? So in this, we've got to be honest. The whole process of relationships, in my opinion, is about being honest with each other, always. Being honest with yourself and being honest with each other so that the person that you get with is the person you're meant to be with, because you're always being your authentic self. And that's who they fell in love with, is who you are authentically. So that's what I got to say about that.
Yeah, and just speaking for men, we have things that we just aren't going to do as well. Speaking for myself, representing men, I know for a fact there's just things that I'm not going to stop doing, and it's not going to make any sense to her whatsoever. But these things that I'm not willing to stop doing wasn't for you to begin with. And that's just the harsh reality of it. So if you need me to stop doing it, it's never going to happen. I'm not ever going to stop doing the things that I do on social media. Why not? Because my social media account has my name on it. So that means that I will do whatever I feel like doing on there. And although my No, that part's not important. But
Oh,
my my
go ahead.
all right. Although my Instagram page is private, my Twitter page is not private. And truth be told, the Twitter page is where all the action is anyway. I'm leaving it wide open for a reason. If it's a problem for you, it's going to remain wide open so you can see everything that's happening there. That's who I've always been there. That's who I will always be there. I'm not willing to change it. I know that there's women who will not be able to accept that in their man. If it's that much of an issue for you after you got done talking to him about it, hopefully you tried to talk to him about it and not just complain about it. After you've gotten done talking to him about it, after you've complained about it, and he's told you that he's not going to do anything about what you're requesting, you have to accept that. He is giving you the most honesty that he can possibly give you. When he says that he's not going to do anything about it, he's being very honest. You need to make your decision. Is what he is doing and not willing to budge on enough to ruin your ultimate happiness and peace in the situation? If the answer is yes to any one of those questions, you have to get yourself out of this.
Mm-hmm.
Love is love, and when we love, we're all in. But we shouldn't be loving to the point where we're destroying ourselves. Physical abuse is a big thing in relationships, but mental abuse is a big thing as well. Mm-hmm. And not being happy can lead to mental abuse. And we all just want to be happy. Part of getting to that point of being happy is giving ourselves time to get over those unhappy relationships that we've been in, knowing exactly what we want for ourselves. And then after we've given ourselves enough time to heal and realize what it is that we want, then we give ourselves an opportunity to go get what we really want. But nobody needs to be in miserable situations where he's just going to watch sports all day and he's never going to come help you with the laundry, for example. And he's just going to go to work and come home and not even acknowledge your presence. Who wants that? Nobody needs that in their life. Nobody wants that in their life.
Amen. I think that you've ended us off beautifully, unless there was something else you wanted to add.
No, I'm all done right there.
Okay. So thank you for listening in to The Universe is Talking. And as always, it's a pleasure to have you with us on this journey. We want to hear from you, though. So let us know what your thoughts are on this topic today and any of the topics that you'd like to hear from us in the future. In the meantime, be sure to like, follow, and share. And until next time, love on each other.